Hello and welcome, fam, to the Dr. Mumbi Show. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you are living your best life. And I keep telling you, really, it's mind over matter, that your best life is a mental reality. Because I can tell you, after everything that happened, with YouTube kind of, they were shadow banning us or blocking us from uploading for the last week, it has actually been a blessing in disguise because I've been able to see how many of you actually were on this boat together, and I'm so overwhelmed by the love. I think we've gotten on both channels combined at least 30,000 new subscribers. We've also gotten at least 400 new subscribers on our Patreon account, and basically we're using our Patreon to create next, to create the platform, fam, to create these websites and have these massive storage space to put up the videos that we do on the same regular schedule is not a cheap endeavor. So we really appreciate love each and every one of you for making that possible and just for standing with us with your prayers, with your best wishes, etc., etc. Now, just these stories just won't end. It just keeps getting worse. But this story actually made me think thrice about the kind of memo that China has sent to their people around the world that such a thing as this would actually happen. And basically, a Chinese captain and his 6 Chinese crew members actually threw 2 Africans stowaways overboard into, shark-infested waters. The Chinese captain and his crew actually pleaded guilty and were found guilty of throwing 2 Africans of Tanzanian origin. They were basically stowaways overboard into shark-infested waters due to fears that they brought coronavirus on board. And this just tells you that Chinaman has informed his entire peoples that now we are the new face of the epidemic and the pandemic and pandemic. And seriously, we must reject this in the strongest terms possible. And the fact that, Jack Ma and the Chinese government have quietly spread, their testing kits and their medicines to at least 46 African nations. We haven't heard those African nations. We saw Ethiopia receiving them. We saw Rwanda receiving them. Those should tell you about those brotherhood nations, you know what I mean? But we haven't really seen any of I think we even saw Kenya. Kenya is... not even gonna. So, we also saw Kenya receiving them, but we haven't really been able to, no government has disclosed. Now, remember, the test is, some people are saying the test is a virus, others are saying the vaccine is a virus, and you really now have to be self-sufficient, fam, even in your mental thinking, even in the way you're moving, you have to absorb all this information and then be an adult for once in your lives, because now it calls for that, for you to have that discerning spirit, to be smart enough to make the decisions that are best for you. Because seriously, and I'm going to cover this in a prophetic update, so much has been said about the vaccine, what their plan is for Africa. So now, we can tell you this, but we can't come and physically stop you from buying stuff from a Chinese store. We can't come and physically stop you from refusing to take medicine or a vaccine because they give you some incentive. It's up to you, fam. You have to strengthen your mind so you're not used. But now, so what happened is that basically this captain, they got these Tanzanian stowaways, they got them on board, and then they freaked out that they could possibly be bringing coronavirus on board. So they built a raft for them of plywood, plastic drums, and rope, and then set the pair, overboard close to the South African shores. Well, not very close, because it took them several days to even get to the South African shores. And this is where there are sharks. So literally put them on this little thing and then gave them 1 life jacket to share and 2 bottles of water. I'm telling you. Okay, they were given 2 bottles of water each. And so what happened, Amiri Salamu, who is 20 years old, and Hassani Rajabu, who is 30, they were instructed by the Chinese, I swear, this is so crazy. They were instructed to get to shore by using their hands as pedals. You can't even make this up. I mean, even if you tried to make this up, it wouldn't be this good, or this bad, or this sick, whatever way you want to see it. And so the pair, were found by horrified locals, as they washed up on shore, and they were sent to hospital after suffering from hypothermia, thirst, and hunger. They are literally lucky to be alive. And, the African Maritime Safety Agency quickly tracked down this Chinese ship and arrested the captain and six Chinese crew, and they all pleaded guilty wrongly, which is the name of the captain. He was charged $5,000, and the crew were charged $2,005 each. They should also have been sent away from any African waters as well. But do you think these people are your friend? Fam, I pray that you're giving as much information to those who don't have it, because, a lack of knowledge will really destroy so many of our people if we're not careful. But it's up to you to now stand up for yourself. You have the information, continue researching, but know what time it is. And know that even with all this information, each man is going to have to decide, and woman and child, is going to have to decide to stand up individually for the cause. Whether people are doing it, no herd mentality. It's going to have to be an individual choice. Are you brave enough to make it? Until next time, fam. Mwah.
Hello friends, I saw a video today of a Caucasian lady who made a video on anti-black racism in China that is growing recently because of this coronavirus. And I also saw a video of so many Africans that were evicted from their apartment, from their hotels. Their passport and their documents were confiscated. Some of them were even deported. Then I said, this is an interesting time, because I wanted to share a statistics with you. I and my group, a Pan-Africanist group, last year, late 2019, we conducted a research because I was pricked with curiosity to make this research, because I stumbled upon a Chinese farm in Khartoum, for example, Khartoum in South Sudan. A Chinese man occupying thousands of hectares of land in Khartoum and is farming vegetable and exporting it back to China. As I'm talking to you, Google, just type it now, the Chinese farm in Khartoum. You'll see it. Just Google it. So before I do that, let me just give you a few statistics, okay? Let me just explain to you why the Chinese people are trooping in Africa and occupying land right now. Understand reality and what is happening. The total global superficie right now as it is, the world in general is just 500 million kilometers square as it is. That's what we're occupying. And Africa is 30 million. Africa as a continent in general, and with a population of 1.250 billion people in Africa. Then the US, for example, is 9 million square kilometers. Canada too is 9 million. China is 9 million. India with almost 353 billion people have at least superficie of 3 million square kilometers. So as you can see, Africa is even large. Africa as this is even larger than Russia itself. Russia has 17 million kilometers square, okay, in superficie. So think about all these things. Now look at all the land apportioned to different parts of the world. Africa alone has 60% of the world's most arable land. I'm telling you that the total superficie is 500 million. And Africa has 60% of the world's most arable land. Now, what is the Chinese agenda? The Chinese agenda is that they are going to send millions of their people. As I'm speaking to you right now, they have occupied hundreds of land, thousands of hectares of land in Africa. There are actually there were before this outbreak of coronavirus, 40,000 Chinese in Nigeria working for the Dangote farm. Most of them don't even go back to their country. In South Africa, for example, there are 30,000 permanent resident Chinese that are there, permanently resident there. Go to Namibia, you see them. Go to Tanzania, you see them. Go to Kenya, you see them in hundreds. You see them in mining, illegally killing animals and taking them back to China. So what is the Chinese agenda? The agenda is that their population is growing and they are going to send in more millions of their people in Africa to occupy land, dominate Africa both economically, okay? While our people are busy doing their politics, China is taking over our land. This thing, I'm very concerned about this, because no African can even occupy an apartment, buy or sell an apartment. You don't even have permanent residence in China. Talk more of getting land. So why are Chinese people buying land in Africa? Why? We spoke with the entire Pan-African research team, and we're going to publish the list of all the hectares, thousands of hectares of land that Chinese people are occupying all over Africa. As I'm talking to you right now, one of our contacts is sending information about the Chinese poultry farm in Ogun State in Nigeria. Okay, another one again is occupying at least 58,000 hectares of land in Namibia. They are farming there, sending it back to China, sending it back to feed their people. But an African cannot even occupy a single, just ordinary apartment in China, we cannot even occupy. So what is the purpose of doing this video? We want to share this as far as we can to sensitize our people. And we're going to publicize all these things. We're going to publish all the land, hectares of land that they're occupying. We're going to mount pressure on the AU and all the African leaders through our activism. We'll mount pressure on them to start watching closely these Chinese people. They are not bringing anything. They are only profiting from Africa. And then they abuse our people. You can see some of them open restaurants, they abuse our people. You can see how they are abusing us in their own land. But we welcome them as royalties in Africa. So this thing of, anti-black racism must stop. If we are not welcoming their land, then they should not be welcome in Africa. Everything, respect, we must respect each other. This is the objective of this video. So I'm counting on you to share this video far and wide. We're going to get relevant authority. We are already organizing our members all over. We're going to publicize all the thousands of hectares of land they are occupying in Africa and pressure every single government. They must check them. And right now, I'm calling upon the governor of Ogun State. That Chinese poultry farm, you must check these people. You have to check them. They are now farming poultry. They are even farming sorghums. I saw it. Some of them are even farming watermelon and sending it back to China. Some of them even have fish ponds there. But in our own land, we welcome them as residents, but they hate us in their own land. Why is that?
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.